The next one is promotion. And the last one is place. And place is kind of difficult to understand. I think they had a hard time getting a P word, but I'll explain it to you. Let's talk about product. There are two products. You're always selling a house, which is the property. And here's a house. Does anybody recognize this house? Well, it's off the internet. I don't recognize it either. Okay. Or this house. Now somebody back there should recognize this commercial building from Shenyang. Judy, do you recognize this building?
No.
It's famous in Shenyang, according to the internet. Okay, somebody else recognizes. So here's a commercial property that is very famous in Shenyang. And commercial real estate is also a very good thing to be in. Now, there's something else about product. It's not just what the product, what the house, what the property looks like. It's also how you dress it, how you show it, how you, the word that's used right now in real estate is staging. And here's a look at some kitchen of a house. And it doesn't look like my kitchen because it's so clean. But that's what the houses have to be like. It has to look almost empty to really show well. Okay, and then the other kind of product is you. You are always selling yourself. You always have to look successful. You have to always be happy. You have to be totally knowledgeable about everything at any moment. Oh, and that's a picture of you. No doubt this is what you all look like when you get home after a day's work. You go home, you go to your money, and you play with your money, and you feel really, really good about being in real estate. That could be all of us. And maybe that's even real money, too. Okay. Let's talk about price. And there are several prices. And when you look up, we do research on a home, you see there's a price that it was sold at. That's easy to find. Before the house gets sold, there's a listing price. And then when you want to analyze the market, you look at the competitive prices in the neighborhood or within a couple of miles, let's say, of the house. And finally, you've got a house, let's say your customer wants to buy it, it's a little bit high, you do a competitive analysis and you find out, oh, well, you can offer $15,000 less because we know that this seller is motivated and he's ready to let it go at that price. Now, sometimes if you can develop a relationship with the seller's agent, you can start to get an idea. They don't usually tell you exactly, but you can get an idea of how much lower they'll go. So even though a lot of the listing agents out there, and I hope I'm not insulting anybody, don't want to spend time with the agent who's trying to help sell their house, if you develop some relationship with them, you might get some additional information which would be really helpful to getting that house sold. You might find out how low the owner will go. You might find out that there was some new work done that wasn't even mentioned. Or you might find out there was a fire in the house. So maybe your buyer doesn't want to buy a house that's been completely rebuilt on a foundation that went through a major fire. So it's good to be able to do that. And this is $1. So I think is that $100? I don't see those all the time. Is that, I'm going to guess, is Benjamin Franklin a $100 bill? Nobody works with those?
We don't say $100 either.
Pardon?
We don't say $100 often either.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right. I usually work with 20s, 5s, 10s. I don't see hundreds that much. Except when I'm going overseas, and then all of a sudden I'm starting to see hundreds. But that disappears very quickly. Okay, let's go to place. This is a very strange word. How do you place things? Well, The first way, or let's say the traditional way or the most common way that you understand place is the movement of the product to the customer. So it could be that the product gets delivered, this is not in real estate. Let's say a computer goes from the manufacturer, goes to a retail store, and then the customer comes in and picks it up there. So that's the transportation of the product from one place to another. But in real estate, we don't do that. We don't pick up a house and move it usually. Well, I wish I could move my house. We love our house, it's just in the wrong place. But we've got a basement, so anyway, we can't move it. So how you bring your customer, your client, to a house that you're showing is very, very important. Now, there's even two parts of that. Don't bring a client on a rainy day. Don't bring them at night. Bring them when they're going to be happy, when they can see wonderful things going on in the neighborhood. You know, 5 o'clock in the afternoon when there's a lot of cars filling up the street and there's a lot of traffic, maybe not the best time to show a house. You know, rainy days are just terrible. And some houses don't have electricity, so the houses look twice as dark on a rainy day. So, and in my case, when I bought a house out in Lawrenceville, this is long before I had a real estate license, my realtor always took me by one route to the house. And I never saw the rest of the neighborhood. Had I seen the rest of the neighborhood, I might not have bought that house. And we still dislike that realtor to this day. Okay, the other way that you're transporting your client is helping them to make a decision. People, customers, clients see a lot of houses and then, oh my God, I'm not sure, it's a lot of money, I'm afraid to make a decision. I'm afraid to say yes. It's probably their biggest financial decision of their life. So you need to help them. And this little diagram here doesn't help me help them, but it explains a little bit about you have to put in time, you have to know the value of money, you have to help them establish priorities, you have to make their decision-making rational and get the emotion out of it. You know, if this is the kind of house they said they liked, and they wanted a 3-bedroom, they wanted a 2-bath, they wanted in this neighborhood, this adds up to what they were telling you they need or want. So you have to get the emotion out of it. And one way to get the emotion out of bringing them to this decision point is to making sure that they're ready, so that all they have to do is sign a contract. If they have to then go out and get pre-approved, which is not pre by that time, if they have to go out and get this document or that document, there's room for them to get scared, to back off, to think about it, to lose interest, to think that maybe they can put off this decision, and so forth. Get them ready, get them prepared so that all they need to do is sign. Okay. I think we skipped something. Can we go a little bit faster? Can we go back a little bit? Oh, the word promotion. That's the 4th P to marketing's 4 Ps. Promotion is right there, sneaking up. Special offers. And I kind of mentioned this before. Lower the price, $15,000. Another idea is maybe you need more clients. So you run an ad and you tell people, look, if you will call me and make an appointment with me, I will do an analysis of what you need. And then, you know, that would be the first step to looking for a house with them. Let's do a needs analysis. Or it could be the other way around. Call me, and if you want to sell your house, I'll sit down with you and I'll help you determine what the value of your house is and what we need to do to market it properly. That's an offer. Free consultation. Okay. Now, if you do it correctly, it should pay off, and these potential clients should become people who sign a contract that they're only doing business with you, and then you're on the road to making a sale. Okay. So now we can move past that and talk a little bit about what marketing includes. One of the things that marketing includes is making a profit. So if you say you're in real estate and you want to develop your business, that is, grow your business, add customers, add income and so forth, you have to be aware that you are trying to make a profit. That's being in business. If you're not wanting to be in business, then you're doing it as a hobby, so it doesn't really matter. And here's a little slide that's supposed to illustrate profit. Notice profits are supposed to continually go up. That's also something you need to track every, let's say, month in your business. How much, what are my expenses? What money's coming in? What money's going out? What's left after all of that for me? That's the profit. Another aspect of marketing is product development. And we talked a little bit about staging. You can't do much to a house when somebody comes to you and says, I want you to list my property and sell it. But you can tell the seller, look, you got to clean everything out, or even, if possible, move out. It would be nice if you made some repairs. There's a lot of competition out there, a lot of empty homes out there right now. So if a person can't walk in and see something and feel good, why would they stop to buy the property? Market development, how to expand your market, how to get more clients. Market research. I like this because I find a lot of agents don't do this at all. Follow-up is terribly important, but when you're getting ready for an appointment, and I did this at 11:30 last night because I have some appointments this afternoon. I've already set up 3 appointments for this afternoon. I set them up early on in the week. I talked to each listing broker. And I checked again last night to make sure all the houses are still active. Now, one of the properties that we're going to see before we see these 3 was called for appointment only. And strangely enough, this house has a tenant. Okay, I've dealt with tenants before, but even more strange, the tenant has visitors for the last 2 weeks and isn't allowing anyone to show the house. So we will be seeing the outside of the house only. It really doesn't make sense to me, but I suppose the seller is thinking, well, I'm getting the rent, so I can, I'll let the tenant decide when the house can be seen and when it can't be seen. I think right now spring has started. It's definitely started in Georgia. The rest of the country may not know that spring has started because it's still cold in some areas. But spring has officially started, so that means the selling season has officially started. Things are going to get very hot, very competitive, very, very soon. Okay, so I call and I check for permission to show a house. I don't just walk in because they've got a lockbox. I check for special codes because there's nothing more embarrassing than getting in front of, let's say, a condominium complex and you can't get in the gate. And there's another car behind you honking. And nobody will give you the courtesy of using their card to let you in, and you're sitting there with your client. So you got to get your codes down right. And you have to be sure that you're walking into a house you can actually work with. If somebody else has got a contract on it, it's not worth very much to get into at that point. Okay, competitive analysis. This is not trying to kill your competition, but that's the only sign I could find, the only image I could find. Sometimes you think that there's no competition out there. Well, you got your client sign, he belongs to you, he's not walking, you know, we're going to find a house in the next 90 or 120 days. Well, reality is not like that. Sometimes people sign things and it doesn't mean anything. But for you, what's the competition out there? Number one, time. You have another client, that means you have less time to spend with your other clients. So you've got to be very organized. Changing circumstances create competition and stress. What if one of your houses has a price reduction? Might be good for you, unless you're the listing broker, and you've lost some money already. Another changing circumstance. The house across the street from the house you're showing just went into foreclosure, and the price is half of what the listing house that you're looking at is. That hurts. In other words, a foreclosure at $93,000 across the street from the equivalent house that's trying to sell at $200,000. This is a reason that it's in foreclosure, but when it's your house, it really hurts. Judy will understand that, right? Yeah. Yeah, we just had a house across the street from us that went into foreclosure, and it's half the price of our house. But it's you know, what we found out is that the houses are different. Everybody is really different. We all have special talent. Houses have special things. Not everything is all the same. The house across the street doesn't have a basement. It's up a really high hill. It's hard to park your car up there. It wasn't left in good condition. So it's not just the price tag. And finally, I think one of the biggest things in terms of competition and stress is keeping your client interested. You have to keep them motivated, keep them feeling optimistic that they are going to find the right house. It's kind of like in acupuncture. If you told the client you need 10 treatments, you've got to tell them that by the time we get to the 10th treatment, you're going to be feeling pretty well. You're going to be a lot healthier. In fact, the biggest problem in acupuncture, which of course has nothing to do with real estate, is if you're doing your job correctly, the patient starts to feel good too soon. And, well, the problem is that then the patient wants to stop the acupuncture. I feel good. Why should I keep coming back here and have people stick me with needles? Well, there's a lot more to it. Okay, some other things that we're talking about besides competition. Let's go through that. Developing a pricing strategy, public relations. Oh, I like this image. What's public relations? Okay, well, it's how you relate to the public. You meet people, or you maybe write letters to the editor, or people see your sign. And your signs need to be nice and crisp and clean and standing up, not falling down. It's just how people see you. And what this little diagram is showing is that lots of different people see you and can comment or criticize or judge your value as a real estate person based on what you're showing. So never get caught wearing the wrong clothes. You know, oh, I was just going to run out and show one house, and I know these people. This happened to me just about a week and a half ago. I was showing just one house, and somebody else was there at the same time. They didn't have an agent, and I looked terrible. And I apologized. They said, "Oh, we understand, no problem." It was one of those really, really hot days. But I'm never going to do that again. When I was younger, I had no problem in carrying 3 different sets of clothing in my car, depending on who I was going to meet. So I was ready. I wasn't ready a week and a half ago. Okay, customer service. Again, it's great to do free things for your customer. It's a lot better when your customer has signed an exclusive agreement with you as a client. Everything you do for them, in the end, will help result in a sale. But sometimes you need to educate your client and let them do some things for themselves so they get involved in the process. But it's always nice when you can work with a customer who actually can recommend you to somebody else after the sale. Okay, we talked about promotions, we talked about brand development. Brand development is not that important, except if you're maybe a broker. Let me just say that there are 3 stages here. This is impossible to read. Development stage, a survey stage, and a strategic emphasis stage. So perhaps it's better to think about, let's say that you've got a sign that you're using for advertising a listing. Sure, it has to be recognizable and it has to be remembered, and it has to stand out from all the other signs on the same street with houses for sale. And then you kind of get feedback, you kind of get an evaluation after a while in terms of how well your sign is working. If the neighbor keeps stealing the sign, that's an indication of something. You need to do some public relations with some of the people in the neighborhood. If your sign looks like everyone else's sign, that's good because then they know it's a real estate sign, but it's bad because it's just another sign. How do you make your sign stand out without looking ridiculous? So that's really important. And finally, go back. Finally, you find out that maybe the most important thing on your sign is the fact that you've got a golden butterfly at the top, and nobody else has a picture of a golden butterfly. Let's just add as an example. And because of this golden butterfly, people love golden butterflies. People remember your sign. And even though it doesn't say, the butterfly isn't the phone number, it doesn't say the price, it doesn't seem to have hard information, but people start to think about, the butterfly company, oh yeah. I was in another house in another part of town and I saw the butterfly sign, and that house was nice. Maybe all their houses are really nice. Maybe I have to think about that company. So that can be very, very important. I'm not saying put butterflies on your sign, but maybe something like that would work. Okay, corporate identity, corporate image. I think the important thing to remember about this is your sign, the way you're dressed, if you carry a little badge, your stationery, your business cards, they should all project one image of professionalism, and they should all look somewhat the same. If you have a business card that doesn't have any picture on it, and your sign has a butterfly, you missed an opportunity. So if you're going to use the butterfly, put the butterfly everywhere. And most importantly, in all these things, the way people can look at you, you want people to remember you. Some of the best advertising on TV has been commercials that annoy people. And even people don't remember that they're annoyed. I mean, when they see the commercial, they're annoyed, but they don't remember it after what happened with a lot of these commercials is they remember the company name because it stood out. So I'm not saying have annoying business cards, but what I am saying is you have to stand out. There are lots of salespeople out there. There are lots of people trying to make money. There are lots of signs out there. So whatever you're doing to promote yourself or identify yourself or to show what your image is, try to make it as unique and special as possible. Okay. Now, there's this whole big thing, revolution that's been going on in marketing, and actually this happened after I got out of school, and it was called integrated marketing. Well, you know, a lot of things got integrated in America. Sometimes men's and women's rooms, bathrooms are now integrated. A turn is going in, I guess. And race relations changed in America. So now, it doesn't matter what color you are, you can sit anywhere on the bus that you want, if you're still taking the bus. So now marketing communications got integrated, and really the key factor in marketing, in integration, is that you need to have a coordinated, comprehensive plan, and everything that is on the plan reinforces every other part of the plan. Okay, in simple terms, you have a business card, that's one kind of marketing. You have stationery. So if you have a website, put the website address on both. That reinforces it. If you have a little message under your name, the honest real estate broker, then you put that little phrase on everything you do. Okay? Now, the other part of integrated marketing or integrated marketing communications that's important is that every time you advertise or promote or do some sort of communication, you make an impression. And you can make deeper and more impressions when you have the same message going on in different media at the same time. So let's say you've got an ad on TV and you've got an ad on the internet. The ads have to look a little bit the same. Not exactly. You have to have the same company logo. You have to have the same website. And if there's some theme to the ad, it should be pretty much the same. On TV, you've got more of an opportunity to make it look entertaining. On a website, there's less time perhaps, so you want to get the information out a little bit faster and not be quite as entertaining. Okay, so probably I'm talking too much. Oh, it's lunchtime? Good. Okay, so we're almost done. Okay. Integrated marketing is important because people use different media today. You can't depend on somebody to just read the Chinese newspaper or just check their email. Everyone's got a different way of handling information. So you've got to use a number of different forms of media. Also, you have to be careful. Every time you do another type of advertising, it's more money. All right, so we are looking at, this was integrated marketing, and basically saying everything relates to everything else. Whatever you do here affects what you do there, and overall, it affects your overall impression that you leave with your customers. And you have to use all the modern tools. Go ahead. You have to use all the modern tools that are available. I've got a picture here from Apple Computer, and it's showing phones and laptops and iPads and what else? I don't even recognize some of them. iPod, iPhone, everything. You need to learn how to use all of this if you're not using it right now. Don't stay with what you're comfortable with, because even these are changing all the time. And you got to keep up with changes, otherwise you become old and less successful. All right. And that includes, doesn't say that up there, but it includes things like social media, like Facebook. Use everything. Be everywhere. Okay. I think we can pass through that. Now, I just want to say that you could do a major at an academic major at a university and study marketing full-time for 2 years. And then you come out with a theoretical basis. If you start to use some of the things that I've talked about today, you're going to be really ahead of the game, ahead of somebody who's just been studying it. And if you start to use more of these things, it's really going to help you in your business. So that's pretty much the end of what I was going to talk about. There are nice things here. Oh, I see parties. That's kind of like today's webinar party. But this is the end result, that last picture, selling homes. Anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes. How much can I dance before I put a whole
As an
lot?
experienced real estate agent, and what's the advice you can offer to us, like, to new people? How to project your professional image to your client, like what kind of car you drive, what kind of dress code, and something like that.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you already know. I mean, you're already aware of the things you have to do. I mean, one thing you do is to follow the lead of your broker. I mean, he's the model. Now, for example, David is dressed in what's called casual business wear today. That's fine. And as the weather changes, you're going to change what you wear. You can't wear a suit when it's in the 80s and the humidity is high. You know, with your car, we're using cars less today than we used to, in a sense. It used to be you had to have a Cadillac, and you had to put your client in the back seat. And these days, because of the high price of gasoline, there's no problem to tell your client, look, we're going here, here, and here. Here are the directions. I'll meet you at the first place, and then we'll travel together. If it's convenient, if you're working in a very small area, sometimes you can park one of the cars and everybody can go into another car. But, oh, I have a family this afternoon, they have a car seat. They're not going to move the car seat into my car, you know, so they're going to take their car, which means I don't have to worry about what the inside of my car looks like. I hope. I hope they don't get in my car. But I think you already have a pretty good idea of those things. And you'll see other agents out there, and you'll see the mistakes that they make. For example, I went to a house, it was on a hill. The agent decided that he had to park next to his client. His client parked in the driveway. So the agent parked in the grass. So when he was backing out, it didn't leave holes because the grass wasn't too wet, but that's the wrong thing to do. He could have left his car on the street, and it could have been hit. He didn't want to do that. When he was backing out, he knocked down the for sale sign because he couldn't see where he was going because the hill was so steep. So that looked bad, and his client saw that. So there's some little things. I mean, if you just think a little bit, you know, let's assume God is watching you, then you know what to do. Do the right thing. Okay, anything else? Yes. Judy, my wife. Yes,
yeah, I want to ask you, how do you, like, people always will tell you, oh, can you show me a house? And you take the client and they never sign a contract, and you waste a lot of time. How do we avoid that kind of thing happening?
Well, that's not really a marketing question, that's more of an operations question. And what she's saying is when you take on a customer or client, you need to qualify them. You need to find out if they're the right type of person to work with. So you do a little interview. It's like, it's really a form of market research on your potential client. You have to, and you know, if they can't give you straight answers, then that's a warning sign. If they can't, you know, if they're not relaxed to give you a signature, that's a warning sign. But it's a lot better to have a client who's signed with you than to keep taking out a customer and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, when you might show them a house, they might decide to go back to the neighborhood, run into another realtor, and then actually buy a house with that realtor. So, I mean, it's dangerous. If you like throwing away your money, then don't worry about getting a client to sign a contract with you. But I think it's terribly important. I trusted people in the beginning. I don't trust people now. You know, it's a business. It's not friendship. So it's the same thing. First time somebody walks into an acupuncture office, you don't have a credit established with them. You have to ask them for information. If they're unwilling to give the information, maybe they won't pay you at the end either. So it's very important to get the information you need so that you know that you're doing business with them and it's not friendship. Okay. But that's not really a marketing question. Anything else that I can help with? What's for lunch? Thank you.
感谢生动的演讲。下面我们请侯庆旭先生给我们讲解中国大陆国民在张家洲投资房地产的有关的知识，还有这个我们平常在投资房地产遇到的最常见的问题。侯庆旭先生 ，David 是 broker， 就是我们乔德房地产公司的负责人。侯庆旭先生的理想是，您成就您的梦想，我帮您成就您的梦想之家。有请。
首先，我表示感谢所有参加这个讲座的人。有的人来的就是路很远，有没有开车1个小时到这边来的？有没有？小请举手。非常感谢。
最远了，我昨天从中国刚刚过来。
今天我就想说，这个孔子讲这个有朋自远方来，不亦乐乎，只是不远万里过来的，我们有缘分哈，谢谢。孔子还说，3人行则必有我师。我想这边有很多人，大家肯定可以学到一点东西，就是我自己到这边也可以学到很多东西。刚才俊讲了，他讲了很多东西，我也很有感想。等着以后再问他问题吧。我的题目呢，就是有一个是中国大陆公民到这边来投资房地产，这个是一个题目；再一个就是拍卖房，主要是这2个。然后下午呢还会讲那个怎么来筛选客户，这个租客，就是你要出租房子的话，你怎么来筛选？还会讲就是说你要想考取这个执照的话，怎么来做？还有就是说你要想成立这个 LLC 公司来做房地产投资。上午呢就是讲这个大陆公司的投资和这个拍卖房的事儿。我先把这个